Isma and welcome to my kitchen. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make a Cascade Tiramisu as inspired by Dominique Ansel's creation from his London restaurant Dominique Ansel Treehouse. It's served like a modern twist to the Italian classic with 3 layers of Amaretti Biscuit sandwiched between layers of mascarpone mousse and topped with a lava and gooey-like whipped cream layer on top that sort of spills out as soon as you pull up the outer sort of plastic wrapper. So it's very fun, very theatrical, but also very delicious. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do it using simple home cooking methods and hope you guys will find it useful. So yeah, hope you enjoy! I'm going to show you how to make the Amaretti biscuit disc from scratch, but you can also use pre-made Savoiardi or Amaretti biscuits brought from the store. Keep watching and I'll let you know how to use them later on. You'll first need to separate the eggs. We're going to use the egg whites for these biscuits. Using a mixer, beat the egg whites while gradually adding the sugar until it reaches Steve peak. Then, start folding in the ground almond. Remember to also add some Amaretto liquor to your paste for that extra almond taste. Now, we're going to roll out the dough. Out of practicality, I like to do this directly onto a lined baking tray, lightly dusted with some icing sugar. The dough is quite sticky, so we're going to divide it into 6 equal portions, then cover them in icing sugar before rolling them out as well. We're going to use a rolling pin and a cookie cutter with a diameter of about 10 centimeters. Roll out each of the dough ball to a thickness of about 3 to 5 millimeters, then use the cookie cutter to cut out your circular biscuit shapes. Remember to avoid overworking the dough, otherwise it might become too dense and your biscuit might become tough and make it difficult to absorb the coffee afterwards. We're going to repeat this with the rest of the dough until we get 6 nice biscuits. Then we're going to finish by dusting some icing sugar on top. We're then going to pop this into a preheated oven at 160 degrees and bake it for 13 minutes. Now, we're going to prepare the coffee dip. I simply used some dark roast instant coffee, added some hot water and some Amaretto liquor. Mix everything together, then leave it to cool down on the side. Moving on to the mascarpone mousse. First, we're going to separate the egg. We're going to create 2 different mixtures, one with the mascarpone and egg yolk and another one with beaten egg whites, and combine the 2 together. Add the egg yolk and the first portion of sugar, then mix everything together until it becomes light in color and creamy. If you've made your Amaretti biscuits from scratch and don't know what to do with the extra yolk, you can add it to this mix at this stage as well. Once the yolk mixture becomes smooth and light in color, start adding the mascarpone cheese and mix until it becomes well blended. Remember to scrape the sides as well. Once done, set aside. We're now going to move on to the egg whites. Beat the egg whites while gradually adding the sugar until it reaches Steve peaks. Once that's done, we're going to fold the 2 mixtures together. Start with a small amount, then gradually add the rest into the mix. Once everything is well combined, cover and refrigerate until assembly. Next up, we're going to prepare the runny whipped cream topping. Add some sugar to the cream and whip until you get the consistency desired. You can use either whipped cream or double cream for this. You don't immediately need to do this. I would actually advise doing this last, right before you're about to serve. Be careful not to over whip, otherwise it might become too thick and won't flow. If that happens, you can add a bit of milk to thin it out. Keep lifting up your whisk to check that you've got the consistency that you wanted. Once it's done, refrigerate. It's now time to assemble. I measured out some acetate wrap and cut the length needed using the cookie cutter that I previously used to make the Amaretti Biscuit as a reference. I also cut it in half so that it's got about a 10 centimeter height. Add some tape to the edges and neatly cut the ends so that you can stick it together later on. Moving on to the fun part. We're going to start by dipping our first biscuit into the coffee. Soak it a few times until it becomes slightly soft to the touch, although you don't want it to fall apart. Then we're going to take a scoop and a half of our mascarpone mousse and put it on top. We're then going to take our acetate film and wrap it around the base. Leave a bit of space so that it's easier for you to assemble and remove the film later on. Now repeat the process with another layer of biscuit, then another layer of mascarpone mousse, and finish with a final biscuit on top. I would recommend to place the biscuit down at a slight angle, then gently pressing it down so that the mascarpone mousse can be distributed evenly. Now, if you chose to use store-bought biscuit, they obviously don't come in this circular shape, so what you can do is soak them first, then crush them into smaller pieces, and layer them at the base and between the layers of mascarpone mousse. Once you've built this, I'd recommend to let it refrigerate for a bit in the fridge for at least a few hours so that the mascarpone mousse layers can set and the biscuit can properly soak in the flavors. When you're ready to serve, pour the whipped cream on top. Give it a quick shake to even out, then finish with some cocoa powder. And that's it, you're ready for the big reveal. It's now time for the taste test. What I like the most about this dish is the very interesting difference in consistency and textures from the mousse biscuit and the slightly more liquid whipped cream. The biscuit layers are quite soft with intense coffee flavor, whereas the mascarpone mousse gives it a more creamy and sweet touch. And finally, the whipped cream adds some freshness to the overall dish. So that's it for today. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you guys found this video useful. Now, if you'd like to see me recreate some more famous restaurant dishes at home, remember to hit like and also subscribe. And also remember to check out some of my other content on my blog and my Instagram. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!